Today I want to talk about 10 things I learned from Big 12 Media Days and give you guys some sense of what it was like for me. And, well, one of the things I really love about all of this is I got so many really cool responses about my moms. So, bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kidfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about 10 things I learned from Big 12 Media Days, 10 takeaways, if you will, from Big 12 Media Days. But I want to start with a couple of things. First is, I was at work from Tuesday until like an hour ago. And when I walked through the door, I cracked a beer, I put on Disney Plus, and I got straight into the season finale of Loki. And my God, I was already here for the Kong the Conqueror experience. And now that I am here and I have seen that it is Jonathan Majors, I am locking the damn door. We are about to have a damn good time. Like, this series is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I loved it. I loved every second of this. And then Jonathan Majors showing up be like, yes, I am still the scene stealer. I am still going to show stop in here at the Citadel at the end of time. I'm going to do that because I am he who must remain. Or he who remains, excuse me. Look, when I tell y'all about to get the full dose of Nathaniel Richards, y'all about to get the full dose of Nathaniel Richards. My God. And then we get the heart-to-heart, and then, Loki kisses himself, kisses herself. We get the peak narcissism in there. I loved all of that. Owen Wilson is adorable. Like, this is so good. Kate Herron, Michael Waldron, y'all should be so proud. This is awesome. All right. But I had a lot of time to think about this list and the experience that I had in the 4.5-hour drive to Arlington and the 4.5-hour drive back. Again, I was locked in on doing my job down at Big 12 Media Days. And I got to tell you, this was an awesome experience. This is the best and most fun I've ever had at Big 12 Media Days. And this meant a tremendous amount to me because some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. I came up in the industry covering first the University of Tulsa and then the University of Oklahoma, which is when many of you got to know me when I was writing at the OU Daily and later on at another site and then 247 and at Fox. And somewhere in there, I decided to start making videos about this stuff. But I remember going to Big 12 Media Days like 11 years ago, and it was a harrowing experience. You're a child. I'm not a child. I was like 24, but I'm going and I can't get anywhere. My quotes are all going to come from the days. I'm having to muscle through people to get a microphone in front of people so that I can hear what people are saying to the masses of people. At the time you're talking about Bob Stoops being kind of sort of overwhelmed. Mac Brown was still at Texas. So much has changed since then. But each year that I've been back, it's been a better experience because I have my bearings. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, and I know what kind of questions to ask and what sort of things to write about to sharpen the angle so that you guys get what you are after. And I like to think that I'm getting better each year at sharpening the angle about what you want to know and really having to pick my spots about that stuff because we're talking about college football. We're no longer just talking about the University of Oklahoma, despite what OU fans say. There's still a whole bunch of Oklahoma stuff here. Just ask the people that show up who aren't Oklahoma fans. But I say all that to say, we recorded Monday's episode of the number one ranked show and Wednesday's episode of the number one ranked show in the visiting locker room at AT&T Stadium. And I got to hang up my jersey. Those y'all saw on Twitter, the sneak peeks with me wearing my white Wakanda. I appreciate the love on that. I understand that the kit is fresh. Yes, I put the number 10 on it. Yes, I put Young on the back of it because that's who we are, right? That's what we do. But I got 15 minutes to talk with each one of the Big 12 coaches, save Lance Leipold, who could not join us, and I was really looking forward to that because they got a weather issue in Kansas. I think there was a storm that prevented them from taking off. But I can't wait to meet Lance Leipold. I still think that's an A+ hire. The man won 6 national championships in 8 years, went to Buffalo and flipped it, and had like a 1,000-yard rusher in 5 games last year. Get out of my face. He's amazing. But I had so much fun talking to all of these coaches, and then I got to talk to each set of players in set of twos, and that was fun. We asked them what I thought were some really interesting and entertaining questions. You'll see that show, and you'll get what we're getting at there. But I think rather than spoil that, I'm just going to say I'm giggling. They're giggling. We're having a good time. Also got to ask some questions that I know many of you want the answer to, like to Steve Sarkisian, how are you going to fix the development issue at Texas? And he gave what I thought was a thoughtful answer. But shout out to producer Cad Donnelly. Dude, man, part of the crew, Jeremy Benbow, Luis Aguilar, those dudes plus Cat working overtime to set up everything that you see in the show, right? So all I have to do is sit there and try not to make an idiot of myself and try to position the coaches and the players in the spaces where they're comfortable enough to talk with us, right? To talk with you. But the lighting, the ideas, hey, RJ, why don't we just hang some of your jerseys that you brought in your suitcase? Like, that's dope. Let's do that. To Kat going like, no, you should wear the Wakanda on day one. You should, because that's you, and that's what the people expect from you, and we really enjoy that aspect of you. She produced the hell out of this show. She kept me on time. They kept me on time. All of the reasons that this show is good, I really want to give to them, because y'all know I've been doing a lot of the work in building this channel on my own up until January 1 of this year. And the way that Fox has invested in me and invested in this show, I can't begin to tell you what that means to me and what that does for us. I can't. I could continue to wax about it, and I probably will, because it's so much that goes into this. I mean, shout out to Danny DeVito, who came up with the titles, the graphics, or I came up with the title, he came up with the graphics for the show, and all of the ways in which it personifies the comic books and things that I like. And it's awesome, right? We're going to have such a good time this year, and some of the stuff that is planned, some of the stuff we got going on. I'm also interested in letting you know we still got Big Ten list of my all-time, or that just came out actually. ACC all-time, that's coming out. Pac-12 all-time, that's coming out. Group of 5 all-time, that's coming out. And we'll probably do something special with my 7 all-time list, the 5 power conferences, HBCUs, and the group of 5. I hope you continue to have fun with that. As much as I say fight me, know that I put a lot of effort into each one of these lists. I have my reasons. I hope to unpack those in certain situations as they go forward. But that plays into the shows you're going to see. I asked the players and the coaches to comment on my all-time list, and we got some outstanding observations here. All right, speaking of observations, let's talk about these 10 things that we learned, that we take away from Big 12 Media Days. And I think the first place to start is actually with Lincoln Riley, and some of y'all saw this on my Instagram, on the CFB on Fox Instagram, on the Number One Show or Instagram, and on the associated Twitters. I asked Lincoln Riley straight up, are we going to get to see black jerseys in my lifetime? And he said, you never know. We're always up to doing something. You know that. And you'll hear the entirety of his answer in Monday's show. But I understand the traditionalists don't want to see Oklahoma become something like Oklahoma State or Oregon, for that matter. But just a black jersey every now and again. When Iowa State wore them, not only did they look good beating Oklahoma at night. Throw that out there, all right? But that's one of those, right? So he gives us hope. The next thing that we learned, Matt Campbell knows he's got a squad, all right? Like, throughout the entirety of my interview with Matt Campbell, he is smiling. He's having such a good time. As I told him, look, you return Will McDonald, who's the only Power 5 player with double-digit sacks to return this year. And that's your defensive end. That's not even your best player on defense, let alone best player. He's got Mike Rose coming back, who I believe is the best returning linebacker in this entire country, right? And then he's got, of course, the first unanimous All-American at Iowa State in its history, in Breece Hall, right? Who's going to punch up for 1,500 again this year. He's outstanding. He knows he's got a squad. He knows this is the year for him to chase down not just Oklahoma once again, but get in the Big 12 championship and maybe unseat Oklahoma and perhaps get Iowa State into its second major bowl victory right? We'll see. A lot of football left to be played, and that's one of the reasons that I can't wait for this to happen. Chris Kleiman knows that Dynamo Deuce is the man's. Like, one of the things that he pointed out to me on my all-time list is, well, you'll see. But Dynamo Deuce, love that dude. That dude had like over 1,000 yards all-purpose rushing and receiving, and he came out of nowhere for a lot of people at 5'5", 171 pounds, a fellow Mighty Mouse, right? That's our cousin, Mighty Mouse, our cousin, right? That's Deuce Vaughn out there making it happen. Got to talk with Skylar Thompson and Jerron McPherson. Along with this note, Jerron McPherson is the oldest of 9, and his mama is a Booker T graduate, like Booker T here in Tulsa. So that's what's up. All right, next thing that we learned is Gary Patterson, his innovation is a product of his environment. Like, one of the things I've always lauded Texas Christian and Gary Patterson for is his ability to identify players at another position who he thinks could play something else entirely. Like, for instance, recruiting a running back to play defensive line, recruiting a running back to play linebacker, recruiting a running back to play offensive line, recruiting a tight end to play defensive end. These are all things that have happened at TCU. As a matter of fact, going into this year, one of the things I pointed out to him, Marcel Brooks was an outside linebacker pass rusher type on a national championship LSU team. He's going to play wide receiver for you. Shadrack Banks, an H-back, running back, wide receiver type coming out of North Shore, he's going to play linebacker for them. And then, of course, he's got Zach Evans in the backfield, and we got Max Duggan coming into a magic year for him. He had so much fun with me. O'Shawn Matthews was also cool. I can't wait for y'all to hear that and see that. Letty Brown and Dante Stills at West Virginia are both Carl Joseph stans. Like, Letty Brown is a tailback, and he was the second leading rusher in the Big 12 last year. As a matter of fact, he went for 1,010 yards in 10 games last year, and he said, Carl Joseph nearly made me change my position because I watched him play safety, and I was like, I want to do that. That is, like, Carl Joseph rings out for West Virginia. Dante Stills was like, my brother played with me, so that's like my favorite dude, but like, yes, Carl Joseph is that guy at West Virginia. I didn't know that. It was nice to hear that. Rico Jeffers and Dawson Deaton at Texas Tech are both daddies. They came through. Jeffers got a 4-year-old. That was cool, right? Deaton got basically a new daddy. He got his kid is 20 months. I had fun jamming with them about that. That was a lot of fun. Also in there, Matt Wells had coached tight end at Tulsa when I was at Tulsa, and you should have seen him. Like, and then there's a couple of moments in there. I can't wait for y'all to see this interview. I hope this makes it into the final cut. But I asked him a couple questions where he looks around like he doesn't know if he's being punked or not. It's so much fun. Like, he's having a good time with me. Mike Gundy is a Prince stan. Like, a legitimate Prince stan. Because I asked him a question. You'll see this. But, like, he waxed poetic about the artist formerly known as for a hot 5 minutes. Like, that's what it felt like. Didn't expect that to come from him. Didn't expect that. Malcolm Rodriguez is also like 230 bills now. That man was like 200 a couple years ago. I watched him wrestle in a singlet at Wagner. He looks good. Bijan Robinson is a Reggie Bush stan, and that is who he is trying to imitate on a football field. That is why he is wearing that number 5 jersey. And Steve Sarkisian is quick to point out, I've had a 1,000-yard rusher everywhere I've been. That's not going to change at Texas. Woof. All right. Again, the shows come out on Monday and Wednesday for Big 12. By that time, I will be in Indianapolis going through Big 10 media days, and I'm looking forward to that. Remember to subscribe to the podcast here on the channel if you don't already. Over on Apple, wherever it is you get your podcasts. If you're on Apple, leave us a 5-star review. It helps other people find the show, and it really helps me look better to my bosses. So please go ahead and just go over there, hit 5 stars, leave a review, and we good, right? Otherwise, I will see y'all later. Deuces.